I'm the one with the brain cell today. Okay, go ahead.
Hey guys, how are you today? If y'all don't know, or if you're new here, that's Meg.
That's Delaney.
Yee! And we're your hosts for Conspiracy Complex, the only podcast that explores a cocktail and a conspiracy in the same episode.
You're getting it all.
Exactly.
The whole package.
This is the whole package.
This right here.
She's the whole package.
She's the whole package.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Oh.
All right, so here at Conspiracy Complex, one of us educates everyone on a conspiracy theory, and the other one makes a drinking game out of it. And here's the conspiracy for the first time. So basically what we're going to do is make a drink, and that's the drink we are going to use for our drinking game. You can make the drink along with us, but you don't have to. So if you were just here for the conspiracy theories, you can go ahead and skip this part, or you can just, watch our banter because we're hilarious.
Which is obviously why you're here. We know.
Right.
Anyway.
Obviously. But if you are under 21, please do not participate in the alcoholic drinking because we're not trying to get in trouble here.
Mm-hmm. And if you're over 21, please do so responsibly.
Do so responsibly. And if you don't want to drink alcohol, you don't have to. You can have a coffee or a tea or a water. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're feeling. We're just here to entertain you. So, this week, our drink is what I like to call a wingin' it.
I love it.
Which is basically, we found some stuff in Delaney's house, and we're gonna wing it. We're gonna make a drink out of it.
AKA broke bitch cocktail.
Yeah. We're on a budget.
Balling on a budget. So basically,
this is our mixing glass. You already know. You've seen it before. So, we're gonna use this stuff. It's Mr. and Mrs. T tropical mix. And basically we're kind of following the recipe that's on the back, but we're not using, is it supposed to be rum?
I think so.
Yeah, we're not using rum because we don't have rum. We have tequila. So it's going to get real interesting.
It's going to get real fun.
I'm the one who has to drink it, so you know. On the back it says 4 ounces, but it's for 1 glass, and we're going to make 2 glasses, so we're doing 8 ounces of the mix. You can do as much as you want, or you can do nothing if you don't want to drink.
However, fair warning, I know we put you on to some really sweet and sour drinks, but this is pretty fucking sweet, or tart, or whichever. Both.
Sweet and tart.
It's not great. So 8 ounces?
8 ounces, baby. Ooh, on the money. Ooh. She didn't come to play. Next up, we got some tequila. Delaney's personal favorite.
And we need an ounce, so I guess 2 ounces.
I got it. Who opened this glass? Who holds this thing closed?
2 ounces?
2 ounces.
Hell
yeah. And then, just because we want to be fancy, we're going to add some lime juice.
Yeah, get that
that acidity, as Delaney was trying to say. Oh, it doesn't have like a squirt top. Or is it supposed to? Fuck it up.
Fuck it up.
I'm scared.
Here's the thing. Meg and I went to dinner before we filmed this, and we both had alcohol. So, gosh, is that the top one? No, that's gonna come flying out. Where's the fucking
Where's the
part? God damn it.
Doing great, guys. We're really, like we said earlier, this is what we call winging it. That's our whole life, really.
And we are actually coming back from a 1.5-month hiatus.
Yeah, and actually
holidays and COVID.
It wasn't supposed to be a 1.5 months. If you recall in our last episode, shake it up. We said we were going to come back for a Christmas episode.
We did not.
And then we did not.
Spoiler
we live in different cities, and with the holidays, it was just not happening. And then we both got COVID. So,
in the same week.
In the same week, but separately from different sources.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we had to take some time for that.
We had to quarantine.
So we're finally back, and
we're making it happen. We're making it happen. We're trying.
We're jumping back on the horse, and it might be a little sloppy, but it's fine.
It's okay. We're here to make you laugh. You don't have to take us seriously.
Also, so you're probably supposed to shake this and strain it over ice, but
we don't have ice right now. We're gonna make it work.
my ice evaporated? Question mark.
I don't know what happened.
There's probably gonna be a lot of questions, but I don't have a better answer.
We don't know
for
what
it.
happened. The ice thing is empty.
So,
But anyway, we're gonna pour this in a cup and then probably put it in the fridge for like 30 minutes.
yeah.
So I'm pouring.
So pour over ice is what I'm.
That's recommended.
visualize. This is gonna be exactly like our witch's brew. Shout out if y'all saw the first episode with the witch's brew and actually tried it, because that is the most
That shit was sour, and I'm so sorry.
I've ever had.
I'm so sorry that I made you drink that.
It wasn't bad the first like 20 minutes.
And then it sat for a while, and it was like,
Yeah, then it sat,
Lord.
like, gained more energy as it sat. And so
Like,
every time
took
you
a
took a
nap
sip, it
and
just
came
punched
back.
you in the face.
Took a nap and came back like just. And then because again we don't really have anything, we're just working with what we got. We didn't go to the store, is what I mean. We're gonna garnish with some cherries, because why the fuck not?
Yeah, that looks so pretty actually.
Yeah, it does actually look pretty cool. Hopefully it's good.
Maybe we're getting good at this, guys.
Maybe. Maybe
Watch this
or-
drink be fucking terrible.
It might be. Listen, it might be, and that's okay. I'm gonna power through it. I'm the one drinking today. All right, you ready?
All right, guys, testing time. Ready?
Okay, I'm not mad at it. It's not my favorite thing I've ever had, but it's also not terrible.
This is very reminiscent for me of like going out to clubs when you're like 21 and 22, and you order what should be a fruity drink, and they just put like the shittiest,
Like
fucking,
worst tequila.
yeah, worst tequila ever.
And all you can taste is the shitty tequila.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's why it's not so terrible for me.
yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
So it's not great, but it's not bad.
It's not great, but it's not
We're gonna
bad.
power through. And Delaney has a great conspiracy theory for you that we're all gonna hear for the first time.
Yeah,
So let's
stick
get to it.
around and watch us one get drunk.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, y'all.
Welcome.
Did you miss us?
Probably not, because you really have been watching us this whole time. It wasn't very long for you. It was a little while for us.
True.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a couple hours.
We
for
played
us, for
Animal
sure.
Crossing for a little bit.
Played Animal Crossing. We chilled the drinks.
It's nice and cold. I feel like my
Watched
fingers are gonna
some
fall off.
Ghost Adventures. Zach Baggins was not intense at all.
No, never
It's a boring
is.
episode.
Really,
Yeah, and that's why we drink is always talking about how he like
screams at
pops
ghosts.
off and
I
yeah.
think maybe he was humbled a little bit.
he was
The hair
humbled
going across
after the
your
Devil
face.
House.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Matt. Well, are y'all ready for the conspiracy? Do y'all have your drinks in hand? Megan does.
It's very cold. If you see me like doing any of this, it's because it was in the freezer and it's very cold.
It's also because she has the VeggieTales theme song stuck in her head and has been for like 4 hours. So
There's that. I have been singing.
But without further ado,
Let's hear it.
let's get into it, guys. So, would you like to venture guesses as to what this conspiracy could possibly be? I'll give you a hint. The color of my note cards, which are orange, by the way, is...
All I can think of is Donald Trump.
Yeah!
I love that.
We have such same brain syndrome. Where, like, you're like, details, Trump.
Orange,
Guess he
Trump.
looks like a Cheeto. Cool.
Cool. Bet. Cool. So what conspiracy theories are we talking about?
Oh, which one of the thousands did I pick up on?
Yes.
Well,
Let's hear it.
this one, I actually want to give a shout out to one of our fans that is at Nebraska Bryn. So thank you for the suggestion.
Yes.
I told you earlier, but I was discussing ideas, and he mentioned conspiracies about like wealthy or political figured families. So it caused me to do a little bit of a deep dive,
Okay.
and I found the conspiracy theory that the Trump family can time travel.
Listen. I love the idea of time travel so fucking much. Let's get into it.
I warned you earlier. You are going to love talking about this, but hate talking about this at the same time.
Some conflicting feelings. Let's hear it. What's my word?
Trump.
Oh, yay. She's getting me back for Stonehenge.
Yeah, when she made me drink for Stone every fucking 3 seconds.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
All right. So, Trump family can time travel. For all y'all that are participating in our drinking game out there, that is already 1 sip for you guys and Meg. So,
yep.
This conspiracy theory has actually been circulating since 3 books from the 1890s were rediscovered.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 3 books, the first one is called Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump and His Wonderful Dog, Bulger. The second one, that was published in 1890.
Okay.
The second one is Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey from 1893.
Isn't that his son's name?
It is.
Weird.
His youngest son is Baron Trump. And the last one is called 1900 or The Last President. And that was published in 1896.
Okay.
So now all 3 of these books are by the American author Ingersoll Lockwood.
Okay, I've heard that name.
Yeah. You probably have. These books are actually archived in the Library of Congress.
Okay.
So they are considered pieces of history, of historical literature for America. Fun fact, if y'all want to take a look at these, you can read them on archive.org or you can purchase them on Amazon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there are illustrated kids' books. And in the first one, so I'll just kind of go over the history of these books first and what that entails. And then we'll get into the conspiracy.
As we usually do. History, then conspiracy theories.
You got it. Perfect.
We're all on the same page here.
So, in the first book, Baron Trump's character is an aristocratically wealthy young man that lives in Castle Trump. And that's in the U.S.
Does it say where in the U.S. it is? Because it would be really weird if it was in New York, because that's where they live.
It doesn't, but the third book does. So the first book, though, is where Baron grows tired of his privileged, sheltered life. Ring a fucking bell. Anyway.
Listen. Well, you better live it up.
Oh, he lives it up because he decides to go on a trip to Russia.
Fun.
For adventures, quote unquote. Which... Y'all don't get ahead of yourselves as a fucking children's book, so we do not mean nothing by adventures. It is purely actual adventures.
It's literal adventures. Listen, you don't want to be tired of your aristocratic life. You don't want to live off of 80-cent ramen noodles. Stay in your aristocratic life, buddy. You can't hack it.
You're not missing out on much.
I'm telling you now. Anyway.
And so when he goes to Russia for his adventures, he meets someone who guides him throughout the rest of the series.
Okay.
And the guide is named Don.
Oh my fucking God.
And Don is referred to in the book as the master of all masters.
I don't love that.
No, but can't you hear it coming out of his mouth?
I sure can.
Horrible. Fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, Don also tells young old Baron Trump the family motto, which is, the pathway to glory is strewn with pitfalls and dangers.
Okay.
So, after heeding Don's advice, Baron goes about his way and goes on his little adventures and whatnot. He locates an entrance to an alternate dimension in Russia.
Interesting.
And then in the second book, Baron encounters mystical creatures.
Love that.
In this alternate universe or
Love it.
realm or dimension. Including but not limited to.
I can't wait.
Giant turtles.
Like, how giant we talking?
Like, stories tall giant.
Okay, that's kind of scary.
Right?
That's kind of terrifying.
But kind of cool. I feel like it'd be scary if they were snapping turtles.
But if they're just like chilling on
some red-eared sliders.
Right.
Is that even what they're called? I don't know.
It could be, instead of horses, turtles.
You would ride a turtle.
But it would take you like 7 days to get somewhere down the street. However.
That's true.
However, I would much rather ride a turtle.
You could like sleep on a turtle.
Yeah, you could have like a whole setup.
Yeah, it could be really about the journey.
It really could.
Yeah.
It's like your own like camper tent. You know?
Are you crawling in his shell now? This seems violating for the turtle now.
I'm thinking of like, like the little, what are they called? They're called campers. You put them on like the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could like set up a bed and have like a whole ass like camper on your turtle.
Wait, so you want to put the camper shell from the Ford F-150?
No, I'm saying
on the turtle.
No, I'm saying like you could set up a bed on top of the turtle's shell.
Correct.
While he walks, and it would be camper-esque. Like set up a bed, have your little Netflix going.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You're just like put a trailer on the turtle.
No matter how I sliced it, I was like, what the fuck?
How is that gonna work? No. You could set it up like a camper and have like a little house on top of a turtle shell.
Gotcha. That's kind of cool.
Listen, I'm here for it.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Then you could just like travel to new places all the time.
You're constantly
have to worry about it.
new things, sort of, because he's moving kind of slow.
You see new things, like you said, every like 7 days.
Right, exactly.
That's cool. It's more than I see new things now.
That's true. Me too.
That'd be fun. What would you name your turtle?
I don't know why, but Sparky is the first thing my brain came up with. Sparky.
For the turtle.
Flash.
I love it. But yeah, anyway, he also encountered multiple people that were like frozen in time.
Whoa.
Yeah, and there was one recurring character of a man just like smiling.
I hate it.
In time.
I fucking hate it.
Yep.
I hate it so much.
Yep.
That's terrible.
Yep. And then he also had to battle with a big white crane. So now there's giant fucking birds too. So
like pterodactyl giant?
Yeah, like he like had to fight him and like dodge him and like.
What did he have to fight him with? What, his fucking turtle?
Maybe, I don't know.
Instead of a horse, he's riding into battle on his turtle?
I genuinely wish I had read this book and like had enough time to read this book before we did this, because I would have full on done a book report, like diorama, like
these are the giant turtles. This is his neighborhood. Here are his giant grapes.
That would have been fun.
Patreon content.
Really though.
Here's our diorama of Baron Trump.
Shit nobody wants to see. Okay, so anyway, so in the third novel, that is the one that is called 1900 or The Last President.
So the second one is the like second realm?
Yeah, the second one is where he like actually gets to the alternate dimension in Russia.
Got
whatever.
it.
And the first one is like where he meets Dawn and decides he's like done with being an aristocrat and whatnot.
Okay. He's like,
I can't do this anymore.
I can't handle all of these like fancy people like
God
doing everything for me. Like I need to struggle.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna go to Russia.
The spoon in my mouth is too shiny.
Right. Like
and like who even has shiny spoons anymore?
Right.
Give me the plastic ones.
It's not even cool to have shiny spoons at this point.
Chipotle has matte black ones.
Like why do I need a silver one? Ugh.
Exactly.
Get with the times.
Anyway.
Anyway,
but
third book.
So third book called 1900 or The Last President.
That title makes me feel ick.
Apocalyptic.
Which
Yeah.
you know.
It should.
You know.
In the book, I was unable to find which presidents they were talking about. I don't know if Ingersoll Lockwood actually pulled real names or not.
Okay.
But the book opens on a panicked New York City in a state of uproar in early November after the election of a, quote, enormously opposed outsider candidate.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You see the goosies? Yep.
No. That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
oh, yeah.
And this was like for sure published in like the 1800s.
Yep, 1896.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am gonna go ahead and quote the book now.
Oh no.
It says, mobs of vast size are organizing under the lead of anarchists and socialists and threaten to plunder and despoil the houses of the rich who have wronged and oppressed them for so many years. You see the goosies?
What the fuck?
Goose motherfucking Cam.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Wild, right?
That's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
Mm-hmm. And I triple checked this shit because I was like, no fucking way.
There's no fucking way.
Triple checked it.
That's like a direct quote from this book?
Is a direct quote from this book. Yes.
Yo, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so, if y'all are not in the U.S. or you have not gone, that sounded rude. That was not me trying to be rude. I'm just tired. That quote and the events in which this book is surrounded are very reminiscent of what happened in, Jesus Christ, 2018? 2019? 2019. Oh,
was it
LOL.
2021?
No.
Because it was in reaction to the November 2020 election.
January 6th is when Trump supporters drink. Trump supporters stormed the Capitol here in America and rioted and pillaged and got shot and
yeah. And
were fucking dumb.
The reason, at least the reason that I have read, is because they felt that the election was rigged.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to stop the, was it the,
It was a vote, right?
it was, the Electoral College from finalizing the vote.
Oh, right. Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
It was, they were trying to stop the Electoral College from finalizing the vote.
Anyway.
That's freakishly similar to.
Yes, and all of these people were, of course, mad. Yeah, and all these people were, of course, mad because they were Trump supporters, and Trump did not win, spoiler alert.
He did not.
And they felt like he should have.
They felt that the election was rigged, although there has been no proof of that. That's not, we're not trying to get political, that's just the facts.
Correct.
It was actually investigated, and there was proven to be no.
Yeah, there were recounts done in states, it was a whole big thing.
So.
But anyway.
We're not trying to get political, that's not the point of this. Moving on.
Exactly. So, now this book then goes on to reference
I'm just gonna get ready to drink.
a Fifth Avenue hotel.
No.
Yep.
No.
So, it says, quote, "The hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob. Will the troops be there in time to save it?" End quote. So, for all y'all following along at home, Trump Tower is located on Fifth Avenue.
No fucking way.
In real life.
In New York.
In New York City.
What the fuck?
And all the goosebumps are coming back
Dude,
again.
I'm very warm from, the tequila. But I would have goosebumps if I wasn't. There's none there, though. Just, use your imagination. In the edit, draw some goosebumps on me.
I'm gonna zoom it in, and there's just gonna be this terrible black black line.
I'm here for it. Do it, please.
On it. So it mentions what could be Trump Tower.
In New York.
References what could be insurrection. LOL. Fucking.
You were close. You were close. I knew what you meant. It's fine.
I knew I was gonna do that eventually, and I was practicing. When I was doing these notes, I was like, insurrection.
And
I'm like, resurrection.
The brain goblin got you too, man.
God damn it. Where's that brain cell? Where'd he go?
He went to bed a long time ago.
Oof.
Our one brain cell is a guy. Adds up. It adds up. We have one brain cell between the two of us.
And
12-year-old boy. And his bedtime was 6 hours ago. So we're running off no brain cells.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
He fucking left us.
He sure did. He's cozy in the bed right now.
So now this novel, the third novel, it does cite Baron less than the preceding two novels. Okay. So it kind of deviates from that plot line and character line and everything.
Like narrative.
Yeah, it focuses more on the collapse of New York City and the collapse of the Republic of the Nation following the transition of presidential power. So it's a little bit more of a post-apocalyptic type, dystopian type,
right,
based on America,
which is very scary. Anyway,
and in this book, some citizens also form a resistance to protest a, quote, corrupt and unethical election process.
Okay.
Yep. So those are the three books.
Right.
So this this conspiracy theory about the Trump family being able to time travel has been around since these three books were rediscovered.
Okay. When did that happen?
So that was reportedly in 2016.
Okay. So it was like during his presidency?
During his presidency, pretty recently. So this conspiracy theory then also kind of reignited another conspiracy theory surrounding the same thing.
Interesting.
With that family being able to time travel. So the original conspiracy theory surrounding the time travel of that family was because Donald Trump's uncle, his name was John Trump, he was a professor of physics at MIT.
Oh, good for him.
Right? He was a physicist, he was an engineer, he was also an inventor.
Very cool.
Right? The conspiracy theory states that he inherited the blueprints for a time travel machine from Tesla when Tesla died in 1943.
What?
Yeah. So I kind of briefly touched on this because it seems, I don't know if it really seems like there's a whole lot more, but I did some digging on this. Some sources, it was unclear to me, some sources say that John and Nicholas Tesla, I almost said testy.
See? 12-year-old boy. That's where we're at, mentally.
So, it was unclear to me, but some sources stated that John was actually friends with Nikola Tesla.
Okay.
Which, I mean, seems like it would make sense. Now I'm just like kind of an outsider looking in on these things. I don't know too much about Tesla specifically. Like,
were they at least alive at the same time?
They were alive at the same time.
Cool. That checks out.
Yeah. They were both living in around the same area.
Okay.
They were both physicists, inventors.
So I mean, they lived in the same area. They were alive together at the same time.
Yeah.
Common interests, so it's a possibility.
It is definitely a possibility that they were friends with the same people at the very least, probably,
right.
Or co-workers with the same people.
In the same social circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it seems plausible. I just couldn't figure out for sure. But what I think really, really fuels this is that when Tesla died in 1943, the FBI seized all of his scientific property.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this included like blueprints, documents, all this stuff like from his apartment, and didn't let
all his research, all that.
Exactly. Yeah, they didn't let anybody in the apartment until they seized all of that stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, the FBI seized it, and the person they called to look it over was Trump. Now, whether that speaks more to his relationship with Tesla, his knowledge on the material, or just his contacts within the FBI and top government agencies, don't know. I feel like it could go any of those ways.
I don't know. I feel like I'm leaning more towards like his expertise in the area, because if he was just like friends with Tesla, why would they call him like his homie to check out like his scientific findings?
That makes sense. It's fair.
Like, that doesn't make sense. And like, even if he was, you know, buddies with people high up in the FBI, again, why would they just call in their homie to like look at this shit? Like, you would want someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to like physics and science and stuff.
That's true.
To look at scientific discoveries to make sure that they're correct.
Yeah.
Or at least to like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Translate this.
Please tell me what this is, because I have no idea. Like, so I feel like I'm leaning more towards expertise, because why else would they have called him?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Like, what? I don't know. If I died, I wouldn't want someone to call you and be like, hey, come translate these weird fucking poems in her diary. You're like, I don't know, man. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd make up the dumbest shit just
be
to
like,
mess with people.
Please do. It'll be great.
Oh God, I can see it now. Like, Meg's will is getting read off, and I'm just left with poems. And I'm just like,
you're left with like
this is
12
from that
boxes
one podcast
of journals.
episode.
You're like, God fucking damn it. This is not what I want.
So Trump was called to look over Tesla's belongings.
Okay.
And kind of like decode them or whatever and see basically what he had. There is rumored to be the blueprints for a time machine in there.
That's fucking dope. That's so cool.
It's so dope, right?
It's so fucking cool and so terrifying.
Yeah, and I heard that from multiple people. Like, I don't remember necessarily what specific thing I was listening to. Mm-hmm. It honestly might have been in an episode of That's Why We Drink, because I'm pretty sure Em touched on it in one of the episodes.
Maybe.
But
it sounds like something they would do a story on.
Yeah. But I know I definitely heard somewhere from like multiple sources that mentioned that Tesla had mentioned to Einstein that he was working on a teleportation / time travel device.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did Einstein ever try to develop one?
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Because I don't know if he ever tried.
If he was like, yo,
Yep,
Tesla, this dude Tesla's trying to like get the upper hand and make a time machine. I'm gonna make one better, and then he couldn't do it. That would be fucking hilarious.
Well, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure there was suspected foul play in Tesla's death.
Ooh.
Yeah, I should have looked into that too. Yeah,
we're getting like all these new ideas.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And I'm
conspiracy theory. Tesla was murdered by Einstein. No, I'm
Boom.
kidding. I don't know.
You heard it here first.
Heard it here first.
Take it away, 4chan. But yeah, anyway, that gets messy on the back end.
Yo, that sounds wild. And the Gemini is just like going crazy. Like,
living for all these inventors just fucking with each other. Yeah.
All these old white men just like fighting with each other over stupid shit. I'm here for it. I'm fucking here for it.
Why can't we all just get along?
Right.
Honestly though. But yeah, so because they reportedly included blueprints for this machine,
right,
people speculated that Trump got those from the FBI. Mm-hmm. Or because he was like the only one that was able to read them and decode them or whatever, then he was given those or given custody of them or something like that.
Could he have been like, yo, these are like obsolete, and they were like, fine, take them?
He could have. So that's what the FBI said his official duty there was to basically look over all the material Tesla had. And basically they wanted to make sure that if the Nazis got a hold of them, because remember it was 1943, they wanted to make sure that if the Axis powers got a hold of them, that they wouldn't be damaging, detrimental to us.
Okay. That's smart. Genuinely, that's actually a really smart. Right? That's a good call. That's a good call, FBI. You don't make a lot of those, but that was one of them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't come for me. It's a joke, okay?
We're already on a watch list.
I know. It's true. It's fine.
But
if you want to watch me go from my house to Target and home again, feel free. Waste
the
resources
this week,
but feel free.
But anyway, so once Trump looked over the documents from Tesla, he reported to the FBI that there was no hazardous or dangerous or confidential material that they should be worried about. And apparently they did something with the documents.
And just like gave them to him?
We don't know.
So like no one knows what happened to all of Tesla's stuff from his house?
I did not find that. I don't want to say no one knows because I don't know
classified.
for sure. It might be classified. It could be wrong.
That's true.
It could be a redacted fucking document out there that says they burnt them, but they're like chilling in the Library of Congress. We don't know.
We don't know. So basically no one knows what happened.
No one knows what happened.
Not
I don't
the general
believe.
public knows
I
what
don't
happened.
believe. If y'all know something different, feel free to drop in the comments respectfully and correct me, because I did not look into that portion of it. But as far as I know, from my limited research on the topic,
Right.
I could not find the final resting place of those documents.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this entire conspiracy theory about that family knowing how to time travel just basically stems from those two.
So it like hinges on
occurrences.
the theory that they had like the document from Tesla.
Yeah, so that one speculation surfaced first about Trump
And then
possibly having
and then
those
the books.
records. Yes, and then the books being rediscovered in 2016. And just the similarities between the two, obviously. The name of the character.
And then like the
age is similar.
Mm-hmm.
The standing socioeconomically is similar.
The hotel on Fifth Street.
Mm-hmm. Fifth Ave. Yep.
Fifth Ave in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I don't know much about New York. Don't come for me.
Hotel. The guy named Don.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting,
Okay.
for sure, right? So, like you say, we love a good devil's advocate.
I do. I love a good devil's advocate.
So I'm here to play devil's advocate for you.
Okay.
So I have to get into the differences / rebuttals to this argument
Okay.
that the Trumps can fucking time travel and wrote a book about themselves. Which, I mean opinion coming at you.
If anyone was going to time travel and write a book about themselves,
It'd be the Trumps and the Kardashians. So
it's gotta be like
and Kanye West. So we haven't heard anything about the other two. Just saying.
not yet, at least.
Not yet. So before I get into the differences, I did do a deep dive on Ingersoll Lockwood, the author of the 3 books,
Okay.
to see if he was by any relation to any Trumps, or if that was a common last name back then, or if he had any tie to any like country or cultural background or anything like shared. I tried to find any familiar ties between the two.
Any like similarities.
Exactly.
Basically. Okay.
And I could not find any. Ingersoll Lockwood is actually, I don't want to say Nordic because I can't tell if it's actually Nordic or Swedish, but he's Scandinavian of some kind. And English, it seemed like.
Okay.
And the Trump surname comes from Germany.
Okay.
So not in the same region of the world ever.
At least by name.
At least by name. I looked at the census for the U.S.
Damn, you really did deep dive.
Yeah, I did a deep dive.
You were
there.
like trying to put it together.
I did a deep dive with that. I looked at the census, and the Trump surname didn't even get popular until after the 1900s in America.
Okay.
And now it's like the 57th most common surname here or something. It was wild. Yeah, I didn't think it would be that high. But that, I guess it's that and like variations of that. So like an E on the end, an S on the end, whatever.
Right.
But something very phonetically similar. So it wasn't popular back then. So this dude pulled this right out of his ass.
Hear me out. This is just like where my brain goes. What if?
Man, we are really switching roles. Hold on. I did a devil's advocate and you did us with a what if?
But like, what if Ingersoll Lockwood is a pseudonym? If they can truly time travel, surely they wouldn't put their own name, because that's too easily to trace. You know what I mean? Like, you got to make it a puzzle. So what if one of them uses pseudonym, Ingersoll Lockwood, wrote all these books? I'm just saying. It's a possibility. We're talking conspiracy theories. Nothing is too wild.
That's fair. Nothing is too wild.
Nothing is too wild
right.
here. Like, I'm not saying that that's what happened. Listen, I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying it's if we're thinking that they can time travel.
No, you're right. I mean,
why not make a pseudonym?
Why would you pen it in your actual name?
Right.
If it is about yourself. I see where you're going with it, and I definitely agree with you. Like, obviously, like, if one of us traveled back in time.
Yeah, I wouldn't write,
would not
and I wanted to write a book, like, about my life or about your life or whatever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't write it in my own name.
Yeah.
It's too easily traceable.
It would not be Meg's Fantastical Adventures by Meg the fucking Goblin.
No.
So.
No, exactly. I'm not going to write it in my own name, especially, like... And this was just my brain going again. Mm-hmm. If one of the women is the one to time travel in the 1800s, technically they wouldn't be allowed to publish something under their own name.
That is true.
They would have to publish something under a male's name.
That is true. There are portraits of him, though. Okay. He died in 1918.
Okay.
And so there are photos of him.
Does he look like any other members of the Trump family?
I mean, he's an old white guy. They kind of all look the same.
Okay, they all look the same.
I mean, if we're looking at, like, facial structure and how all of his children are a carbon copy of him, Donald Trump's children are a carbon copy of him.
Yeah, they all look very
except
similar.
for that one that doesn't look anything like them. Well, Donald Trump? No. Yeah. No, Eric Trump. Is it Donald Trump Jr.?
With the dark hair?
Yeah.
That's Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like he's the only one that, like, doesn't really look like them, and everyone else is just, like, cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste. Anyway. Differences in rebuttal.
Let's go.
Okay. So, the first one I want to start off with, which is Baron Trump. The name itself, the actual Baron in real life is spelled with 2 R's.
Okay.
The character is spelled with 1.
Like the royal title.
Because it is his royal title.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because he's an aristocrat.
Aristocrat. So, yes.
So that's not like his first name, that's his title.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
His government name is Wilhelm Heinrich Sebastian von Trump, commonly called Baron Trump.
Listen, I love the name Sebastian.
Do you? I didn't know that.
Love it. So good.
From Under the Sea.
Under the Sea. No, I just think it's such a good name. It's such a good... I don't know why. It's just a good... You know when you hear some... Like... Okay. You know when you hear a name and you're like, I would name my child that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that name. I'm like, that's such a good boy's name. Anyway.
I could see you. I could see you with a son named Sebastian.
So cute. Anyway, not the point. But anyway.
Anyway. So, first rebuttal. The name.
The name is spelled different. Okay. The one from the story, it's like, it's not even his name. It's his title.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So.
That's the kind of cover-up shit I could see happening, though. Like, I feel like
fair.
If they really did go back in time, it would have been like, Baron Trump's Adventures by Baron Trump. And they'd be like, no, you see the second R? It's not me. No.
See, that's not me. It's spelled different. So, obviously, it's a different person.
Okay, the second one is the guide named Don.
Right.
So, Don's name...
The Don Julio?
No.
That would be great, though.
It's actually close, though.
Oh, okay.
Don's name is actually a really fucking long name. He has like 18 names. His last name has like 20 fucking letters in it, so I wasn't even trying to pronounce it. No.
We'll do the first 5 and call it a day.
Exactly. So, his last name is shortened in the book to Fum. So, it's Don Fum. And he is described in the book as a, quote, learned Spaniard.
Oh, so nothing like...
Exactly.
Right.
And then, if you look at the Spanish language in that time, you see that Don is actually a shortened, respected alternate name for Mr.
Right, yeah.
So when he introduces himself as Don, blah, 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 and says his fucking huge name... He's just saying he's
like,
Mr.
I'm Mr. This is my name.
Blah, 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 Fum. Oh. So when they say Don Fum, it's Mr. Fum.
But because he's Spanish.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
Exactly. So there's that.
Okay.
Now we come in for the hotel on 5th Avenue.
Let's hear it.
So, now 5th Avenue is a well-known area of New York City.
Right.
Obviously, it's known for being rich and ritzy and money, blah, blah, blah. During this time period, it is possible that it was still also known for that.
Right.
because the Waldorf Astoria.
That's gonna fucking end up in the fucking beginning credits. And it was you who said it first! You see what happens when you let your co-podcaster, your co-host, do all the editing?
Listen, you have a lot on your plate. I'm just trying to lighten it for you.
Right, sure.
And if you have to listen to yourself laugh a few times for it,
if it entertains people, if it gets a laugh, that's all I want.
Gets them going.
Right. Exactly. I'm here to get the people going.
The Waldorf Astoria.
That still exists today, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
Why are you doing that with your face?
I don't know.
The Waldorf Astoria was built in 1893. That is still there today.
And it's on Fifth Ave.
And it's on Fifth Avenue.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was already building that reputation, if it hadn't built it already, of being an affluent neighborhood.
Okay.
And a predominantly known neighborhood in New York City. So it is possible that Ingersoll Lockwood literally just picked an area that fit his storyline with New York in disaster mode, crisis mode, and they wanted to go after the rich. Where are you going to go? Fifth Avenue.
Right.
It's possible that it just all fell into place like that. It's possible that it's not talking directly about Trump Tower, that it's all
a conspiracy theory.
I mean, Trump being Trump, what would you expect? Of course he's going to build his tower on Fifth Avenue because it's still a pinnacle of wealth and success and affluent money and blah, blah, blah. So.
Right. And the fun thing, it's not really fun, but like the fun thing about Donald Trump's persona, and I'm saying persona because I don't know if that's his genuine personality or if that's just how he is for the public, but persona, is that the idea that he can time travel is like the least insane thing that we've heard about him.
That's fair.
So like
that's true.
And some of the things we've heard about him that are insane are genuinely real. So you're just like,
and it would add.
I wouldn't be fucking surprised, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It adds to the persona. It adds to. It almost feeds into what his supporters want to believe of him as like,
of like,
oh, you are a god type,
like an
figure.
Omnipotent person.
Exactly, exactly. And that is actually my next point on here.
Let's go.
The first mention, remember I told you the first mention of the books was back in 2016 where they were rediscovered?
Right.
Guess where it was mentioned?
Oh, let's hear it.
4chan?
Yep.
Yeah. So it is fitting that it was discovered, and
absolutely.
I don't want to say it was discovered on 4chan, but it was made more known. Yes, on 4chan. Now, is it something that anyone could have discovered just going through old archived books in the Library of Congress or whatever? Maybe. Absolutely. Is it a coincidence it was mentioned on 4chan first, where a lot of Trump followers tend to frequent?
Probably not.
Probably not. Just saying.
Probably not.
And because this was mentioned back in 2016,
which is,
which was some years ago.
Right. And it was during his presidency, so he was kind of at a peak of being the center of attention in the media.
Yes. Since it was mentioned in 2016, is it less of a conspiracy that the Insurrection Day had then such close parallels to what was mentioned in this book? Because if this book was mentioned 4 years prior, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years prior, to the same group of people or a similar backgrounded group of people who stormed the Capitol,
right?
Then is it just them taking inspiration from the book, or is it the book telling the future?
It's hard to.
I know.
It's not great.
It's not great.
But honestly, before you even said it, I was like, could they have just been like, oh, there's this book that already basically is like, because I I can see it in my head of like people being like, oh, well, there's this book that describes it happening and almost like using it as like a prophecy.
Yeah,
like, oh,
absolutely.
we're fulfilling this prophecy from the past, and we're going to do this, and this is what's going to happen, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you were going to overthrow the rich and powerful, wouldn't you be overthrowing Donald Trump as well? Because he's rich and powerful.
I would think so.
Not the point, but you know what I mean? Like,
There's definitely some loopholes in their arguments from time to time.
Absolutely.
So.
And that's kind of like, that's a common problem in our country of like,
yes.
eat the rich, but we're only going to pick a few. It's like, if we're going to do it, we might as well go for all of them. Like, fuck it. But I don't know. It's just odd because I feel like it could go either way of like, oh, they're time travelers, or like, oh, we're going to use this as like our prophecy and like turn it into something bigger than it actually was meant to be.
Exactly. And it could have been something where like
Subliminal.
they read about it. Exactly. And it was like in their subconscious already, and they were like, oh, storm the Capitol.
It just like
do this.
sparked
writing, like
a moment in their brain that then spiraled out of control.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you think?
That's insane. That's so much. Obviously, I would love to believe in time travel, as like terrifying as the concept of time travel is. For a lot of reasons. If you've seen The Butterfly Effect, we're on the same page. Do you know what I'm talking about, The Butterfly
I don't
Effect?
think I've ever seen it. No.
Oh my god, it's insane. It's basically like, so the concept of the butterfly effect is like, if you time travel and go back in time, like just basically stepping on a butterfly could like result in such a like, and like a domino effect essentially that changes the trajectory of the entire world. Right? So time travel, from what I've seen in like sci-fi movies, which is like obviously not fact at all, but like basically just what you hear about, like time travel can be so finicky and can really get fucked up quickly. So the idea of someone that I don't necessarily think is, I don't want to say intelligent because it's not the word I'm looking for, but that is responsible.
That's a good one.
That is responsible to not go into the past and like make rash decisions.
Yes.
Is fucking terrifying.
Absolutely.
I don't care whether you support Donald Trump or not. We try to be objective as possible. And
yeah, for the record, we're not trying to get political. We're not trying to preach one way or the other.
that's not what this podcast is about.
That is absolutely not what it's about.
We are trying to be as objective and keeping our own opinions about politics and things out of this because that's not what it's about.
Absolutely.
So
now, opinions about people are different than opinions about politics.
Right.
Let's clarify that right now.
Right. Opinions about someone's personality is not the same as our opinions about their politics.
Exactly. But
Just
still,
to make
like,
that clear.
we still respect, like, whatever opinion you have.
Right.
Not trying to start shit.
No. We're just trying to tell you conspiracy
Genuinely.
theories and make you laugh. Like, that's about it.
Exactly.
That's all we got for you.
And you are entitled to your opinion as we are entitled to ours.
Exactly.
So.
It's scary to think about that time travel's real. It's also scary to think that, like, a random book from the 1800s could turn into, like, a prophecy for people. It's also scarier almost to think that reading something one time could, like, have such an effect on you that it completely changes the way that you view things and ends up being the inspiration for, like, you doing something like storming the Capitol of the United States.
Yeah.
Like, it's all so...
Absolutely.
Each possibility is crazier than the next.
That does happen a lot with books, though. Like,
It does,
or like
absolutely.
media in general. Like, you see something or read something or something has such an impact where you're just like, oh shit, that really changed, like, how I feel about this and how I want to do this and how I conduct my business and blah, 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 blah. Should it be that book? And in that way?
I don't know.
Y'all make your own decisions.
That's why it's just interesting and a little bit terrifying to think that, like, you know, this thing that someone wrote like 120 years ago, that was just meant to be like a silly little story is now something that could literally be the cause of something so much bigger.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because of who it could be tied to.
Absolutely.
Like, that's wild to think about.
Right.
I love and I hate the idea of time travel. Like, I think it's so cool and so scary at the same time.
Oh, same. Because like you said, it has to be somebody that's responsible and careful
And not even just responsible, but like so completely innocuous and like able to completely separate themselves from like someone who is able to separate their ego from themselves completely and be like, okay, I am going here objectively to observe and to not change anything. Like, no matter what happens, I cannot change anything, you know? I just don't think that Donald Trump is the person for that.
Yeah, some people have the foresight.
And, like, the ability...
Some people are blinded by other things.
Yeah, some people have the ability to, like, take a step outside themselves and be like, this is not something that I can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have the ability to do that. I don't think that that is one of his strengths.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is the nicest way we can put that.
That is as nice as it could get. Like, I couldn't put it any better.
I mean, I agree with you, too, with the fact that time travel, the possibility of it even existing is terrifying in itself, and that also that starts in on Operation Pegasus territory.
Right,
Because learning about that, and I mean, if y'all don't know about that, that is a government program that was supposed to be centered around time travel, and that was in the 50s, 60s. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. We will cover that, I'm sure
we'll cover it at some point.
That's terrifying because, like, they weren't doing anything. They were exactly like you said, like, they were just going back and observing.
Yeah.
And, like, there's record of that. Well, I have to say record in quotes, but there's record of people being wrong place, wrong time. And yeah, no, that's absolutely terrifying.
It's
because
so scary.
What if, like, that just opens up a whole other can of worms in the sense that, like, what if all of these glitches in the Matrix and shit that other people talk about, what if that did really happen and it's not necessarily a glitch in the Matrix? What if that is Project Pegasus? What if all the
weird shit that's happening now with COVID and, like, all of the, like, things that we think are, like, signs of the apocalypse or whatever that are happening now is because some fucking dude stepped on a butterfly 1,200 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Once you start thinking about time travel, it is so, like, I feel like it's a spiral of your brain. You're just like,
absolutely. Absolutely, because it's connected to so many things.
And you can connect it to literally anything.
And there's so much speculation, and there's so many other conspiracies out there about it, but I did actually look into Ingersoll Lockwood some more, and he does seem just extremely intuitive and reflective.
Okay.
And it seems very much like he is someone that could have seen the writing on the wall, so to speak, with our government system and our electoral college and all this shit. So what I think happened was he literally wrote about something that he thought would come true.
Yeah.
Or was at least plausible, which he was not wrong about.
Well, if you think about the way that the United States even came to be, it was a bunch of people who were peasants in England who were tired of their tyranny government taking money from them to line their own pockets. And they rebelled. If you think about the wealth inequality in the United States currently, what do you think is going to happen? What was our nation built on? What were we taught our entire lives as American children to fight against what was wrong and to stand up for our freedoms? He's probably just looking at, what he knows about American culture and is seeing, the wealth gap growing. Even in the 1800s, seeing the, like, separation of the aristocracy and the, like, poor farming people at the time. I mean, it's very common in societies for there to be some sort of caste system, some sort of, like, difference between the way the aristocracy is and the way that they treat poor people. It happens everywhere. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that it happens. So, I mean, I think you have make a good point of, like, he could just be very observant and been like, I see that these people are very unhappy and they see these people living these lavish, easy lives, what they seem to be lavish and easy lives. When people are angry at another group of people, what happens?
Exactly.
I don't know. The thing is, I want to say I would like to think that time travel is real, but I really don't want to think that it's real. Like, the half of my brain that loves, like, sci-fi shit and, like, loves movies wants it to be real so bad, and then the other side of my brain that, like, knows how fucking twisted that could get so fast is like, no. It's terrible.
Oh, absolutely.
It's such a conundrum.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
That being said, though, too, I mean, our government is notorious for keeping documents confidential, keeping projects confidential, keeping a lot of shit under wraps.
Keeping information away from their citizens. You know.
Yes. So, wouldn't be surprised
I wouldn't
if
either.
Project Pegasus was real. Wouldn't be surprised if time travel was a thing that rich countries were utilizing.
Right.
You
know what's wild, though? Because when I think about like 1943, in terms of like household electronics, they weren't as high tech as they are now.
For sure.
So it's wild to me to think that like all the way back in 1943, Tesla was like, I made a time machine and it's fully functional and we're gonna time travel. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild to me to think that like the idea that someone in 1943 created a machine that can take you back in time.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying it's wild to think that, like, if that technology was available then, why were you not using the technology from that to, like, develop other technologies? You know?
I could see that, yeah.
Like, why did we not grow from that faster? But if
That's
it was
true.
classified, there's a whole bunch of...
And maybe
There's
we did.
so many roads we could go down.
Yeah, because
and maybe we did.
But then
and we just
wouldn't
don't know it.
because they went back and
Exactly.
here we are.
So many roads. It's wild. It's
Maybe
like...
we didn't perfect the microchip the first time, and they went back and was like, here you go. And now we have the microchip, and now we have like
on a
iPhones.
test.
And like, yeah.
Here's the answers. The answers. You're welcome. Like, it's just so, like, this is the type of conspiracy theory that I love, and why, like, I think it's like one of the ones that I think was really the inspiration for why we wanted to cover conspiracy theories, at least in my mind, because it's one of those things that makes you rethink everything you know about life, about yourself, about the world. Like, what am I seeing that could have been altered because of because of time travel?
Absolutely.
It's insane.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the shit I love. I love the shit that makes me go, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What
shit
do
that
I
makes
do
you
now? Where do I go from here? Like, I love it. It's my favorite.
Do you see that Gemini coming out right now? Like, living for the drama. I'm over here
Living
like...
for the drama, living for the knowledge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm over here like, I don't want to have an existential crisis every fucking day, but I like entertaining the idea that, like...
I have an existential crisis every day.
What
so
if? What if? Listen.
Listen. It's exhausting. We'll move past it.
We're in our 20s. I feel like everyone's having an existential crisis. But yeah, I just thought this one was incredibly interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah.
And so interesting, so topical.
Exactly. And that's why I had to give Nebraska Bryn a shout out, because...
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that suggestion.
But anyway, what do y'all think? Do y'all think that these books were written by Barron Trump himself?
Last one, babes.
Do you think Eric Trump wrote them to finally make his father proud of him? Do you think...
Damn, you came for his throat with that one. Like, Jesus.
Here's the thing.
You don't really hear a lot about Eric.
You don't. And then every time you do in media, it's always like, Daddy doesn't love me. It's very much like that.
That's the narrative that is painted, for sure.
And it's so sad.
It is. It's very sad.
But I'm just saying, is that what y'all think? I'm not saying that that's correct. Or if that
could
even
be what you think.
Is anything. I'm just asking you. It's just a question.
She's just throwing out some thoughts.
Do you think that these books were just written by a very observant, intelligent person that just happened to be right about the trajectory of the United States?
Which is wild. He had a lot of foresight for that.
Had a lot of foresight.
More than I do. More than I probably ever will have. Hats off to you, Lockwood. What if it's like an interesting allegory for like the way that he feels about himself? Of like, he's Barron Trump. Of like painting himself as like, I am the one that doesn't want to be in this aristocracy anymore, and I want to go adventure. I don't want to be on this pedestal.
Oh.
Because the only reason I'm saying this is because people always say art imitates life, and especially in terms of writing, a lot of times writers put themselves or people they know into their stories.
Absolutely.
What if that was his whole purpose, was to like create this story of like his own way of escaping his life that he was unfulfilled with?
Ooh.
Woo! Psychology coming out.
The psychology, all the abstract thinking. I love that though. I wonder if it was.
Cause that's like I don't know. That's just like where I go when I think about like what people's motivation to write is. I always feel like it's something in their life.
Yeah, like some pain or some...
Because people like...
energy or something.
Another thing that I've heard, at least in like books that I've read or like films that I've seen that are like about writers, the advice that they're always given is to write about things that they know, because then that's like the most authentic story, and therefore the story is like easier to relate to.
That
right?
makes sense. Yeah.
So he's writing about things that he knows. He's writing about these feelings, but in the perspective of a child's book.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just my thought.
It's also an interesting storyline for a child. For a child's book.
Right. I feel like children were a little bit more mature maybe at that time, because they had to be probably.
Yeah, they had to grow up quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Such an interesting story. I loved it.
Good. I'm so glad. I hope y'all loved it.
I don't know where to go from here.
I don't know where to go from here either, but
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun. If you have any suggestions for us, we would love to cover your favorite conspiracy theories.
Yes.
We'd love to break them down and give you the facts and the history behind it. So leave them down in the comments.
And our sass a little bit.
You can send us DMs if you would like on Instagram.
Yes, please do. Our @ is Conspiracy Complex Podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
It is cons, CONS, complex, POD.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
And you're watching this on YouTube, so you know how to get it to us from there. Conspiracy Complex Conspiracy Complex Podcast.
No, that's not how you get this.
Conspiracy Complex Podcast on YouTube. Thank you for
subscribe
watching.
Button.
Subscribe, like, all those things. We appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for keep coming. What the fuck am I saying? Thanks for keep coming back.
Thank you for keep coming back.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
That better be like the last frame of the whole episode. Y'all come back now, you hear?
I don't know if I can do that. That might be copyright infringement.
Oh, shit.
That's from Beverly Hillbillies.
It is.
At the very
That is. That's true. I didn't even think about that. Oh, shit. Okay, so don't.
But now we're crediting it, actually.
Yeah.
So,
I mean.
y'all come back now.
Yeah.
We rolling.
We rolling. Rolling and bowling. I was trying.
Remember the one brain cell that we have?
It just went back to you.
It's somewhere. I don't know if it's a me.
It's floating. It's just like out in space. That is what our one brain cell is doing, for sure. It just does this.
Someone say
I love that that's the voice you went for. I can't.
Alright, cool. So we're good. Hell yeah. Get it. Woo, woo.
Every episode,
honestly.
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna fucking happen.
That's our new intro sound. It's gonna be the boop, boop, ha, hello.
Fuck. Okay.
Oh, we get an encore experience.
Oh, we're getting more bubbles. Ready.
Woo! Oh, I love that they come out rainbow and
I
light.
know. It's so cool.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Did I spend my hard-earned money on this? Yes, and I do not regret it even a little bit.
No, it makes you so happy.
It gives me so much joy.
Hell yeah.